Hello YouTube, and welcome to episode 3 of my GUI series within the modding tutorial series. And in this episode we are going to be covering the things you can do with the draw screen method. So for now we're going to delete all these other methods and just leave initialize GUI and draw screen. So the first thing you can do is, the first thing we're going to do is draw default background. So if I spell this right, so draw default background, capital D, capital B, but the capital D is for the default. Then you put your parentheses and then the semicolon at the end. So basically this class is from the GUI screen class, and basically if I just save this, if we run our game now, this is probably going to be quite laggy, but this will basically draw a black box. Well, it will dull the whole screen down so it's kind of a transparent black. This is seen in like when you press escape and go into the quit screen. So I'll just show you here. Go into this world. So if you press escape, you can see the background goes dark. Now if we press open our GUI that we just made, you can see it goes dark. So that is how that is done. Just minimize this for now. Then on top of that we can do a method called drawRect. Now within this method there are 5 different variables you can put in, and I recommend you doing width divided by 2, height divided by 2, width divided by 2 plus 100, and height divided by 2 plus 100. Then the 5th variable is the color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll just explain this to you. The width is the width of the screen, and if we divide it by 2 we will get the center of the screen. Same with the height. So these 2 variables are the X and Y position for the far left and top of the box that we're drawing. These are the far right and far bottom variables. So this will draw a box which has a width of 100 and a height of 100 from the center of the screen to the bottom right of the screen, and it will have a color of white because that's what we put in here. So if we save that now, go back into here and open our GUI, it hasn't worked. Lovely. Why hasn't it worked? Let me see here. Let's just open the drawRect implementation, which doesn't really help. Maybe I got the color wrong. Okay, yeah, I got the color wrong. It should, now you can see we have a 100 by 100 pixel box. You can see that that is the very center of the screen where the X is, and it goes out from that. So that is exactly what I expected it to do. The reason I had that little error is because I only put 6 F's after the 0 times, and it should be 8 for rectangles. So that has done that. You can change this. You like put zeros, some numbers and other letters and stuff, and it will change the color slightly. You can see that's gone yellow. But yeah, I'm just going to leave it with white for now. So we have a white box in the middle of the screen, and that is pretty much that method. Obviously you can do more than one of these methods, but the next one we're going to do is drawString. Now if we hover over this, we can add the arguments. The first argument is font renderer, which is a method in the GUI screen class. Here. So font renderer. So we can implement that as it extends GUI screen. The next one is what you want to actually put on the screen. So I'm going to put hello world. Then the next variable is the position. So we're going to do, if I spell it right, width divided by 2 and height divided by 2. The reason we do width divided by 2 and height divided by 2 to get the center of the screen is because we want a point on the screen that we can refer to. So say, for example, here we're changing the resolution. If we change it back up, it's still going to be from the center of the screen. Whereas if we just use normal digits, it will offset. So you just do width divided by 2 and then minus it by however many you want. Then the next variable is the color. Now this one I know is 6 Fs after the 0 times. So we're just going to do white. And if we bring this over, you can see it has printed our string, hello world. It looks kind of odd because the background is white, so I can just take this off. Another coding tip, if you put // before a line, it will comment out the whole of the line and it won't run. So now you can see we have text saying hello world, and it has a little shadow, a little dark grey shadow behind it, and the front is white because that's the colour we set it to. Now obviously we could change this to say red, like that, and it will be red. So that is how you draw a string. Another thing you can do is, if you do it instead of that, draw centered string, you can see now it has kind of moved position to the center of the screen. So basically this will just get the length of the string, then it will get the middle of that length and put it to the variable in which you set the position, kind of, if that makes sense. So that is how you do that. Draw centered string. The next method, we're just going to comment this out again. The next method requires you to have a texture. Now I'm going to go into Photoshop here and just show you the best way to make a texture. But basically this is how you put textures on your screen that you've created in Photoshop or GIMP or Paint or Paint.net or whatever program you use for editing. I'm using Photoshop CS6 here. So we're just going to wait for this to load. It takes quite a while because there's a lot to load with it. Anytime today. There we go. So basically what you want to do is, once it's loaded properly, right, I think it's loaded, right, you click File, then New. Then what we want is a 256 by 256 width and height in pixels image. Now, when you're creating a new GUI, you always want it to be 256 by 256. So that's how the code works. And I'm just going to remove this background. It's also recommended that you have a background like this. So then what we're going to do is basically draw something. Obviously you could go to the internet and get something, anything, I don't know, get a picture or something. But what we're going to do is draw a circle from here, about that big. Then we're going to draw another circle. So just grab the ellipse tool again. Inside that circle, but this circle is going to be, where is it? Color overlay. Red, why not? Why hasn't that worked? Really have no idea why that hasn't worked. Okay, let's take the effect off. And let's first delete this, then, oh. I don't know why it's going black. I didn't set it to go black. Oh, here we go. Red. Okay. Right, you know what? We're not going to do two circles. Oh. Okay. Right, we're just going to do this one little circle. And what we want to do is find the width of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it is 7 across, and the height 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's a 7 by 7 circle. And what we're going to do, just to show you as an example, is offset it to here. So then what we want to do is get this width. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it is 10 across and 1 up. So now if we save this, we want to save it as a PNG file. I'm just going to save it to my desktop and call it circle. So I doubt I'll have anything called circle on my desktop. And just save it as whatever. Then you want to make sure you have closed out of your Minecraft if you were running it. Then you want to go to your MCP. Mine is Documents, Minecraft, then MCP GUIs. Then you want to go to the jars folder, then open the minecraft.jar with WinRAR. Then we can close out of this. And for now, you just want to drag your circle PNG into here. I'm not going to add a folder. If you want to add a folder, I'm sure you can figure out how. It's not hard. In fact, I might just tell you. But what we want to do code-wise is do GL11, capital G, capital L, dot GL color 4F. That has a capital C. Yeah. And then that takes 4 variables, which are all floats, which we're going to set all to, oops, 1.0. But again, a lot of lag here. Okay, there we go. It's back. So you set them all to 1.0f. Then we want to do another method, which is gl11 dot, what is it? gl enable. And that takes an integer of 3042. Make sure that's 3042, otherwise you'll get an error. Then gl11.gl gl bind texture. The target is 3553. Or was it 30? I think it's that. And then the texture is mc.renderengine.get texture, which takes a string, which is going to be slash circle.png, which is the file name that we had. Then you're going to do gl11.gl disable, which is going to be 3042 as the integer as well. So then between the bind texture and the disable, we're going to type draw textured model rect, which takes 6 integer variables. The first one being the width, being the X position you want to draw it at. The second one being the height. The third one is the U variable, which is the offset. So just to give you a visual representation, it is this variable, which was 10. So we'll set that to 10. Then the fourth variable is the height offset, which is 1. So set that to 1. Then the last is the size of your shape, which is this, which is the seventh, which is 7. So 7 and 7. And I'll just run through what it's doing. So GL color 4F is setting all the color values to default. Then GL enable, that is, just ignore that. This is binding our texture with the MC render engine and passing in the location of it. If you wanted to do a folder, you could do your folder name and then slash and then the image you want. Make sure you put .png. And then this is actually drawing it. So the position, the X and Y position, the offset X and Y, and the size X and Y. And then you are disabling what we enabled up here. That's just some stuff you don't need to worry about. So if we save that now and then launch Minecraft, hopefully it doesn't take too long here. There we go. Go full screen with this. Now hopefully if I've done this right, you can see now we have that circle in the middle of our screen because we set the position to width divided by height, width divided by 2 and height divided by 2, so it's in the center, going down, and you can see we have our image that we created here. So that is how you do that. So that is pretty much going to wrap up this episode. So we have covered drawing the default background, drawing rectangles, drawing strings and centered strings, and drawing custom textures to the screen. So I hope this tutorial has helped, and I hope you learned from it and make some cool mods. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video.